Hi, it's Robin Sharma, author of The Leader Who Had No Title, and I'm down here in the Seychelles. A fantastic place in the Indian Ocean, some of the most beautiful beaches in the world, and fantastic culture. And this is a very, very, very special video because it's all about how do you create epic success. So I'm going to take you on an adventure, a little different from some of my other videos you may have seen. And we're going to hop into a helicopter in about 5 minutes. And then I'm going to take you on the helicopter with me. You're going to see some incredible beauty. And then once we reach the island, I'm going to walk you through some of the most powerful ideas known to neuroscience, known to productivity, to help you rewire your mindset so you become an ultra performer, help you develop world-class willpower, help you create explosive productivity, and ultimately help you create an epic life. So down here in the Seychelles, thanks for being with me. We're going to have a great time on this adventure, and you're going to learn a lot of great ideas to build a fantastic life. There's our helicopter right over there. Check it out. Adventure continues. I'm going to take you to a very, very special place. It's one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. It's called Anse Victorien. We're going to take my golf cart through the jungle, and when we get to the beach, I've got some great information and insights on creating an epic life for you. So let me start at the golf cart here, and we'll go down to the beach together. So, as you can see, the Seychelles, an absolutely exquisite place. Some of the most incredible wildlife and vegetation in the world. This series of islands in the Indian Ocean. But where I'm taking you is ever so special. You're going to love this. Almost there, we're getting closer, you can see. Anse Victorien. I'm not the best golf cart buggy driver, so our journey together down to this spectacular beach is a little rough. Please forgive me, but the beauty will be worth it for sure. And what I'm going to share with you in terms of how do you rewire your mindset, how do you create explosive productivity, and how do you create a life that makes history, which is really my great prayer for you, you know? I mean, if we play small with our lives, we do a disservice to ourselves and our potential, we do a disservice to our families, and we do a disservice to the world. Oh, we're almost here. Can you believe the color of that water? I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to take you right down. It's, speaking of the word epic. All right, so welcome to one of the most beautiful beaches on planet Earth. So like I was saying, I mean, playing small with our potential is a disservice to yourself, your family, the world. And why do we do it? Like, why do we play small? It's because the world has sold us this bill of goods. Psychologists call it implicit theories. Most of our choices are subconscious. 10% is conscious. 90% of what we do, or most of what we do, is because of all the subconscious programming. I mean, all the ideas and all the things people have told us about our potential, about who we are in the world, what we can achieve. The whole idea that, you know, geniuses are different, which has been debunked by science. Genius is pretty much, you know, 10% talent, 90% discipline. I mean, genius is a lot more about practice and dedication and grit and persistence versus being born into something special. I mean, the first 10 years of Mozart's composing of music, his work was just mere curiosity. It took 10 years before the first signs of his genius presented himself. So you study Beckham or Jay-Z or Warren Buffett or Picasso or Mozart or Van Gogh or J.K. Rowling. All of the so-called geniuses were ordinary people who had a great idea and a spectacular vision, and they just followed it through day by day until the world saw them because of because they pursued their craft and because of their effort. And you know, practice anything long enough with enough dedication, you're going to get to world class. So anyway, psychologists call these implicit theories. They're subconscious, but these implicit theories really govern our behavior. And once you start to, you know, get to do some introspection and start thinking about your thinking and thinking about your beliefs and thinking about your behavior, then in that awareness you can begin your transformation. So let's keep on going down to the beach. Well, we're just about here at Anse Victorin, one of the most beautiful beaches on planet Earth, down here in the Seychelles. And tell me, is it worth it? Well, so my goal is to share ideas with you right now here on this beach that will be game changers for you and help you take it up. If you feel stuck, if you've been feeling stuck, then these ideas are going to help you get unstuck and kick it into high gear. If you're already doing your dreams and creating extraordinary success, and you're already an elite performer, these ideas are going to help you take it to what I call the NLWC, the next level of world class. Because as you know, for the elite performer and the master, I mean, we're all on a path of mastery. For the elite performer and the master, there is no top end. There is never a top end. It's not really about the goal. It's not at all about the outward success. It's who you become by consistently pushing to the edges of your limits. As you know so well, the number one way to increase your capability, to express more and tap into more and get to know more of your potential is to go to your edges, because when you go to your limits expand. When you go to where your fear lives, your freedom starts to display itself. Okay, so let's get right into it. 6 ideas to help you take it up to the next level. Number 1, set mastery goals versus ego goals. Been a lot of research done on the nature of goals. Most people, unfortunately, have never, even if they set goals, and most people don't set goals, and even if they write them down, and most people who set goals don't write them down, but even those who write them down are often not aware of the power of the nature of your goals. So there's 2 types of goals. Number 1, what psychologists call get good goals, or be good goals. And that's like about, oh look world, I'm achieving these goals so I look better in your eyes. And I call those ego goals. But the masters, the great chefs, the great artists, the great entrepreneurs, the great business builders, the great managers, the great architects, the great authors, the great surfers and sailors, they set mastery goals. It's not so much about, wow, look world, how great I am. It's not about fame, fortune, and applause. It's about mastery. They set goals around, and those are, again, those are called getting better goals. So those goals are all about you expressing more of your potential, you becoming better at your craft, you developing more acumen, more focus, more persistence, more grit. So goals like, you know, that are designed to please the herd and fit into society don't have the same power as goals based on intrinsic motivation, which is all about, like I say, becoming more masterful, expressing more of your potential, and even changing the world. So you want to get the nature of your goals right. And just to finish up on that first idea about setting mastery goals versus ego goals, the real reason why you want to do this is your goals should be a source of power. Your goals should fuel you. And you know, if your goals are coming from pleasing the world and they're ego-driven goals, when you bump up against an obstacle, then you're going to give up. They don't provide a lot of motivation. But intrinsic goals provide so much more inspiration, because then you see the process of getting to your mountaintop and your personal Everest as a journey. And so when you encounter failure or ridicule or laughter, and you're all, all masters suffer more than the average person because they bump up against failure and ridicule, and so they face difficult times, but they push through it because it's really not about an external goal, it's an intrinsic goal, it's about a mastery goal. So the nature of your goals are really important to stay fueled and focused and strong and full of grit so you get to your mountaintop. Okay, second idea is do hard things. Do hard things. I was just in Switzerland a number of weeks ago in a beautiful ski resort or ski town called Lausanne. And I went to the top of one of these Swiss Alps, and I'd never been up that high before, and my ski instructor was with me, and I said, "We're going up there?" And he said, "Yeah, we're going up there." And when I got to the top, I was frightened, and I don't know if you ski, but I was so scared I went right back into, beginner snowplow position, and I was clinging to the mountain pretty much. And he told me two things I want to share with you. Number one, he said, "Robin, lean into your fear. Lean into your fear." And number two, he said, "Robin, commit to the mountain." And what he was saying is, by actually leaning into the mountain, leaning into, the scariness and the fear, what would happen is I'd actually get more balance, and it was actually safer, and I'd actually get some edges on my skis. And actually clinging to safety was more dangerous. And the point I'd offer to you is, the seduction of safety is often more dangerous than the perception of uncertainty. And sometimes, or no, not sometimes, if you're making the right goals and the right move, leaning into your fear and committing to that goal is the safest thing you could possibly do, because otherwise you get to the last hour of your last day and you say, "You know what, I never expressed my potential, I never did anything great." So this second point is really do hard things. The seat of our self-discipline and our willpower has been found to be in a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is pretty cool, the brain can grow. You don't have the brain you were born into, you have the brain that you have developed. And neuroscientists have realized that the brain is very much like a muscle. They call it, this neuroplasticity. And so if you do the right things, you actually can develop more density in your brain, more gray matter, and you can actually build a better brain. And so the part of the brain responsible for willpower is the prefrontal cortex, PFC. And here's what neuroscientists have found. They found that if you develop and strengthen the prefrontal cortex, automatically you're going to have more willpower. And so by doing difficult things, by pushing yourself to your edges, by going to your limits really do expand. And so all masters, all uber ultra performers choose a life that is difficult and challenging versus a life that is comfortable and a life of ease. I mean, your payoff and your rewards and your growth and your mastery and your success lies when you go to the places that scare you, when you do difficult things, when you take the difficult projects on, when you read the difficult books, when you run longer than you've ever run, when you try new things that stretch you. That is how you get more willpower. That's how you become more muscular, more muscularity in terms of your willpower. And that is how you take your mindset, your potential, and your life to a whole new level. So do difficult things. And you also, when you do difficult things, you release a neurotransmitter called dopamine. And dopamine is the motivational chemical. And so literally, when you do difficult things, it makes you feel happier. So sort of, playing small and playing video games and using your best hours watching television or gossiping, that doesn't release dopamine, doesn't build your brain. It's just a seduction of safety, like me clinging to the mountain. And actually, the safest thing was to lean into my fear and to commit to the mountain. And related to that is that key idea, which is your limits are liars and your fears are thieves. Do not trust them. So many of us, we are caught by the things we are running from. We've got this, to use Joseph Campbell's terms, our stained glass window. So get to know your personal story. Start thinking, thinking on paper in your journal or in your quiet moments or by taking long walks on the beach. Start thinking about your beliefs. Start thinking about, how do I see myself? How do I see my potential? Where did I learn my limits from? Was it my dad, my mother, a school teacher? Is it my peers? I mean, there's so much information coming out from science these days. One of the recent ideas is called goal contagion. Literally, we pick up the goals of the people around us. You've heard me talk about the power that we rise or fall to the level of our conversations. Well, now there's new cutting-edge research coming out called goal contagion. We literally consciously model the goals of the people we spend most of our time with. So the third idea is really get to know your personal story and rewire it, re-script it, start thinking new beliefs. And how do you think new beliefs? You just start thinking new beliefs. You start talking about your new beliefs because your words affect your beliefs. You can get up in the morning and in your journal write your new beliefs out, and that's how you start the process of installing them. You spend time with people whose beliefs you want to have, and through emotional contagion and attitudinal contagion, you start picking up their beliefs. You start cleaning up your environments, and your beliefs start changing. I'm going to talk about your environment in a few minutes. So point number 3, think about your personal story, because how you see your potential determines your daily behavior and your performance. If it's not working for you, amp up your personal story, rewire your beliefs. Well, our big adventure continues. I'm here in Firenze, Florence, Italy, and I'm standing right next to Brunelleschi's famed Duomo. This was an architectural marvel, or an idea he came up with that no one believed was possible. And I'm really here because I want to make the point on this third point, which is every visionary was first ridiculed before they were revered.